It is easy to think of the oil-rich Arab families and royal families when it comes to the question of which is the richest family in the world. Yet lurking in the shadows of this elite circle is a name covered in mystery: the Rothschild family. With a staggering estimated net worth of over $2 trillion and an annual income rumored to exceed $390 billion, their wealth isn't just impressive, it's almost unimaginable. It all started in the 18th century when Meyer Amschel Rothschild began a financial business in Frankfurt, Germany. From there, the family grew their wealth by making smart investments and building connections with powerful people. They hold large stakes in some of the biggest companies in the world, including Shell Oil and De Beers, and have valuable real estate in countries like the United States, Britain, France, and Switzerland. Imagine owning over 1,000 luxury mansions and more than 100 private jets. Sounds unrealistic, right? For more than 200 years, they have been a powerful force in banking and finance, shaping economies and influencing governments around the world. So, who are these Rothschilds, and how did they accumulate such immense wealth? What do they spend their money on? And what drives their investments and philanthropic pursuits? In this video, we will explore the history of the Rothschild family to answer all these questions, including how they rose to power, their impact on global finance, and the legacy they continue to build today. Now let's get started. Chapter 1: The Humble Beginnings. In the mid-18th century, Frankfurt's Jewish settlement was a place where ambitions were often stifled by limitations imposed by society. Yet within this restricted space, Meyer Amschel Rothschild's entrepreneurial spirit began to shine. Born in 1744, Meyer faced a challenging environment. Anti-Semitic laws restricted where Jewish families could live, what they could own, and how they could trade. But despite the social and economic constraints, Meyer was determined to create something more enduring than mere survival for his family. Starting as a humble money changer and trader in rare coins, Meyer leveraged every opportunity he encountered, displaying an unmatched knowledge of the intricacies of currency and trade. His reputation grew as he meticulously cataloged his inventory, keeping records that many would have dismissed as unnecessary for a small merchant. His attention to detail, combined with a deep understanding of currency values, soon attracted the attention of Prince Wilhelm of Hesse-Kassel, one of the wealthiest royals in Europe. Meyer earned the prince's trust, offering him sound financial advice and even becoming his unofficial financial agent. This relationship with Prince Wilhelm marked the turning point. Through his service to the prince, Meyer gained a foothold in European high society, where connections were often more valuable than money. With new doors opening, Meyer understood that his legacy would be best secured through the unity and support of his family. He realized that a family-operated financial network could hold immense power if it could work in harmony across Europe. Meyer's ambitious vision had taken root, and the Rothschild legacy was just beginning. Chapter 2: The Five Arrows. Meyer Amschel Rothschild's vision was unique for its time. He didn't just dream of building a local banking business. He imagined a financial network that could operate across borders and transcend generations. To realize this, he made a daring decision that would set the Rothschilds apart from any other family business of the era. He sent each of his 5 sons to different European cities, entrusting them with the family's fortune and legacy. Amschel Meyer, the eldest, stayed in Frankfurt, where he was expected to maintain the family headquarters. Salomon was dispatched to Vienna, where he would establish strong connections with the Habsburg Empire's elites. Nathan, known for his boldness and keen intellect, was sent to London, the heart of global finance. Karl set up operations in Naples, and James, the youngest, built a base in Paris. These 5 arrows, as they were later called, allowed the Rothschilds to establish an interconnected banking network that no other family could rival. The family's secret to success lay in its structure. The Rothschilds pioneered a private communication network that allowed them to transfer information and funds rapidly and securely across borders. Each son reported back to the family headquarters in Frankfurt, ensuring that they operated as a single entity despite being spread across the continent. This network enabled the Rothschilds to gain real-time information on political and economic developments, often ahead of others in the industry. Their strategic positioning and seamless communication system became the backbone of their banking empire. By acting as a united front, the Rothschilds gained influence not only in finance but also in political arenas across Europe. Meyer's vision had blossomed into something extraordinary, a network that would soon reshape economies, challenge governments, and cement the Rothschilds' name in history. Chapter 3: Political Influence. As the Rothschilds' influence grew, so did their role in shaping the political landscape of Europe. While they were bankers by trade, the family's power extended far beyond simple financial transactions. In an age where wars were often fought on credit, the Rothschilds became key players in funding military campaigns and supporting governments. One of their most significant roles came during the Napoleonic Wars, which pitted Britain and its allies against Napoleon's France. Nathan Mayer Rothschild, stationed in London, played a pivotal role in supporting the British government during these conflicts. When Britain faced a financial crisis and needed funds to pay its troops and allies, Nathan stepped in, securing critical loans that helped Britain maintain its military strength. But Nathan's influence wasn't limited to loans alone. He had developed a vast network of couriers and informants who provided him with early news of battlefield outcomes. This network proved crucial in 1815, following the Battle of Waterloo. Nathan reportedly received word of Napoleon's defeat before most officials, allowing him to make strategic moves on the London Stock Exchange. His actions, which some claim involved selling and then rebuying government bonds at a lower price, significantly increased his wealth and solidified his reputation as a master of finance. By financing governments and leveraging insider information, the Rothschilds established a level of influence that made them indispensable to the European powers. They were not merely bankers, they had become political brokers with the power to shape the destinies of nations. Governments across Europe recognized the Rothschilds as more than just financiers. They were now part of the political fabric, advisors whose favor was essential for any major financial endeavor. Chapter 4: Mining and Metals. The Rothschilds knew that to sustain their power and influence, they needed to diversify. Banking alone, they realized, wouldn't protect them from the unpredictability of politics or financial downturns. So, they began to expand into other industries, laying the groundwork for what would become one of the most diversified family fortunes in history. One of their earliest ventures outside banking was in mining and metals, an industry that held immense strategic value in 19th century Europe. With Nathan Rothschild leading the way, the family secured exclusive rights to Spain's Almaden mercury mines, a critical asset for refining gold and silver. This control over mercury allowed the Rothschilds to monopolize the precious metal refining industry across Europe. Soon, the family expanded its interests to include copper, coal, and later oil. They saw that control over these resources could give them leverage over industries and economies, ensuring their influence remained secure even if political powers shifted. Their involvement in natural resources extended across the globe. The Rothschilds invested in oil fields in the Middle East and secured holdings in mines across Australia, where they became one of the nation's largest employers. By investing in natural resources, the Rothschilds built a buffer against the volatility of banking, adding a steady stream of income that reinforced their wealth and influence. This move also placed them at the forefront of industrial development, giving them control over the very resources that powered the economies of their time. In mining and metals, as in banking, the Rothschilds proved their ability to see beyond immediate profits and plan for long-term, sustainable wealth. Chapter 5: Nathan Mayer Rothschild. While all 5 Rothschild sons were instrumental in building the family's empire, Nathan Mayer Rothschild stood out as a visionary who reshaped the banking world. After relocating to Manchester in 1798, Nathan initially focused on textile trading. But it wasn't long before he recognized that banking would offer greater rewards. In 1810, he founded N.M. Rothschild & Sons in London, a bank that would become one of the most influential financial institutions in Britain. Nathan's strategic genius lay in his ability to leverage capital to influence not only markets, but entire governments. During the Napoleonic Wars, his loans to the British government were instrumental in supporting the nation's war efforts. But Nathan didn't just finance the war. He used it as an opportunity to establish the Rothschilds as indispensable allies to the British state. His support of the British government solidified his influence, and by the time the wars ended, N.M. Rothschild and Sons was seen as a pillar of Britain's financial world. Nathan's legacy extended beyond war finance. He was a pioneer in what we now call foreign exchange and sovereign debt markets. By establishing a network for trading government bonds, Nathan created a model that modern banks and investors still follow today. His legacy was not just in wealth but in a vision of banking as a tool to shape societies, a concept that future Rothschild generations would carry forward. Chapter 6: Philanthropy and Works. As their fortune grew, the Rothschilds turned their attention to philanthropy. The family's contributions extended beyond mere charity. They were part of a broader vision to uplift and support Jewish communities across Europe. Nathan Mayer Rothschild funded hospitals, schools, and synagogues, particularly in London, where he became a respected figure in the Jewish community. Salomon in Vienna and James in Paris similarly contributed to educational and cultural institutions, helping to establish a network of Jewish support and empowerment across the continent. The Rothschilds were also instrumental in the early development of Israel. By the 19th century, several family members had invested in agricultural settlements in Palestine, establishing vineyards, farms, and schools to support Jewish immigrants. The Rothschilds' contributions played a foundational role in the Zionist movement, with family members funding initiatives to promote Jewish autonomy in the region. Their philanthropic legacy is not only a testament to their wealth but also a reflection of their commitment to social responsibility and the Jewish faith. Chapter 7: Legacy. In the 20th century, the Rothschild family faced new challenges. World wars, financial crises, and changing social attitudes tested the strength of their status. In response, the family adapted by consolidating their assets, merging various family-owned banks, and expanding into new sectors. In 2008, the family created Rothschild & Company, which is a modern investment bank that spans wealth management, mergers and acquisitions, and financial advisory. Despite stepping back from the public eye, the Rothschilds have managed to retain their influence by focusing on investments and philanthropy. The family remains involved in numerous charitable foundations, and while their banking empire may not hold the same dominance it once did, the Rothschild legacy of innovation, influence, and philanthropy endures to this day. I hope you learned something out of this story, and so do not hesitate to share with us down in the comments section. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe for more content. And remember to check out our other videos on various interesting topics. Till next time, stay blessed.